Intranets, government best practices during COVID-19. And further going forward, we're also going to cover a series of communication skill enhancing webinars. So here's a little bit about us, just to give you some background knowledge on why we're here and doing this webinar. We're actually based in Troy, Michigan. However, we serve government agencies, organizations, and other businesses all across the US. We've been around for 20 years. We have a team of expert web developers with diverse and unique backgrounds, and we actually have over 1,300 sites launched. We have award-winning website designs, including the Communicator Awards, Hermes Creative Awards, 𝗕𝗏𝗯 Awards, Verizon Awards as well that we received in 2019. Also, I forgot to mention, after this webinar is over, I'm actually going to be uploaded a recorded version on our YouTube page and website. So don't worry if you miss any content or things that you forgot to record down. We'll have that all at the touch of a video shortly after. My name is Dani, as I said earlier. I'm the marketing specialist at Revize, and I'm thrilled to be hosting this 2021 kickoff of what should be exciting and informative webinars. I actually graduated with a degree in public relations and a minor in marketing in Spanish. So I'm very excited to present the first webinar of 2021. So here are the table of contents of some of the things we're going to be going over today. I know it kind of looks overwhelming, but don't worry, it'll go by really quick. This is just to sort of keep us on track and all together. First, we're going to go over what is an employee intranet, the difference between an intranet, extranet, and intranet, a brief Revize walkthrough by Denise Brazier, our lead trainer, advantages of intranet, disadvantages, intranet during COVID-19, determining if it's time to add intranet to your site, examples of Revize intranets that we have, intranet guidelines you can use for your organization, and a contact page, also followed by a short Q&A. So just to reiterate from the beginning, if everybody wants to keep on mute, we're going to have a short Q&A at the end of the presentation. So anything that pops into your head, go ahead and write it down on a piece of paper or on your computer. And if we don't get it to you, the answer in the Q&A, we'll definitely get it to you at the email we have on contact. So it seems like somebody's audio is on right now. So if you could go ahead and mute yourself, that would be great. We're actually going to go over what is an employee intranet and how do Revize clients use this tool. So an employee intranet is a secure login area just for employees' information and resources away from the general public's views. This can include things like health benefits information, operations and policies, documents and forms, personnel information and contact list, training videos, safety policies and programs, a cafeteria menu, and a suggestion box that can be in web form. So a lot of those sorts of things that, you know, the HR Human Resources Department would cover, but all on an online portal. So what's the difference? I know that for a lot of people that don't come from a tech background, it can be difficult to decipher the difference between an intranet, an extranet, and an intranet, especially because they all sound so similar. So I'm going to go over the differences here. So first is the internet, a global network of computers that allows for the exchange of information. Most people are pretty familiar with this concept just because it's been around for so long. Now, on the other hand, an extranet is accessible websites that allows both the organization and its users to access the site, but while allowing partial access to authorized users. Those users can include people like vendors, partners, and suppliers. We see this not so much with government agencies, but more with businesses targeted with prospecting and marketing. And last but not least is intranet, a private network that only certain people can see. So this is why it's a benefit for government agencies that need a little bit extra security or are dealing with things that would require more privacy. And now I'm pleased to present Denise Brazier, the Lead Revize Trainer. She helps Revize clients be trained on intranet features and other website usages, and she's actually been with Revize for over 10 years and is a retired Detroit public school teacher, so she's pretty good at explaining everything. I'm actually going to stop my share really quick and hand over the host privileges to Denise. So Denise, I handed it over whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Dani, for the opportunity to share the employee intranet template, which offers the Revize Secure Login feature. Until one is given credentials, you're unable to view the content of a page. I'll log in now. Once logged in, one's able to view the content of the page and any related navigations. One can also create additional levels of navigations within each page. Thank you, Dani.
Thank you, Denise. If you could go ahead and hand over the host privileges to me, I'll get back to the presentation. So as Denise just shared, it's very simple to use the intranet features with Revize. So I'm going to recap on some of the points she touched on. It's easy to find on Revize content management software, CMS for short, access at every single page. So at the bottom, you can see a login. Employee login is required to access intranet features, so you're still maintaining privacy while at the same time having transparency for your employees. It's secure, efficient, and easy, which is something that every organization would want for their employees and resources. Some advantages of an intranet, especially in 2021. It can be used as a single channel communication for announcements. It gives employees an opportunity to connect. It gets important documents and resources completed by staff in a timely manner, stays up to speed with current website software, and helps perform efficiently as a government agency. Some disadvantages of not having internet or a government content management software specialized in privacy is there's a threat of information theft. There's hacking attempts, there can be loss of data on your website, and history stealing. So whenever we have advancement of technology, there always comes with added risk of hackers. So it's best to have the best software and resources to prevent those sorts of situations from happening. So what does intranet mean for us during COVID-19? I think we can all agree that the pandemic has affected all of us in large and small ways, but especially for businesses, organizations, and government municipalities, COVID-19 has changed the way we work and the way we use digital items. So, an article from McKinsey & Company by an American worldwide management business consultant firm released an article about trends in 2021 that we're going to see. It revealed staggering predictions. So leisure travel bounces back while business travel lags. So you might be asking yourself, well, what does that have to do with me, my organization, or intranet? So actually, this article says that a CEO of a major travel company said at the beginning of the third quarter of 2020, business was pretty much back to normal when referring to growth and domestic travel. International is still lagging because of confidence in the country's health and safety measures. But what that means is that more people are visiting government sites to see where they're going when they're traveling domestically within the US, and that means higher traffic. Business travel is still going to lag because businesses do not want to be held liable for employees if they were to get coronavirus before everybody becomes vaccinated. So this is just another reason why having employee resources would be of benefit. There's going to be a wave of innovation and entrepreneurship. We can see that with any pandemic or thing of history or big history matter, that there always comes a wave of innovation and entrepreneurship after. We're seeing a move towards more remote work. I mean, we've seen that with coronavirus and the pandemic. And for that reason, employee resources are necessary to be concise, clear, and easy for employees to use from the comfort of their home or wherever they're attaining digital access. And lastly, there's going to be a digital revolution. So more technological innovations means more productivity, according to the article. And actually, the article recorded that in the US, productivity in the third quarter of 2020 rose 4.6%, followed by 10.6% increase in the second quarter. So that was the largest 6-month improvement since 1965. So it goes to show, as I was talking about earlier, with any big historical event usually comes a wave of innovation. And in our case, we see that with remote work and digital tech revolutions as well. Here are some quotes that I pulled from the article. By the way, I'll be resourcing a link to the article for you to read on your own if you so choose. So, the COVID-19 crisis has created an imperative for companies to reconfigure their operations and an opportunity to transform them. To the extent that they do so, greater productivity will follow. Essentially, with technology and much like anything else in businesses or organizations, if you're not caught up to speed, you're basically behind. So this is important when we talk about different employee resources being accessible. The other quote is that the McKinsey Global Institute estimates that more than 20% of the global workforce could work the majority of its time away from the office and be just as effective. We're starting to see a wave of working from home for health precaution measures, and we saw that especially in the first lockdown. Now that we're in the wave of vaccinations and still COVID-19 and the pandemic, we're going to consider to see an increase of people working from home. Therefore, employees need to have access to all of their resources in a way that still remains privacy for the organization or company if it chooses so. Determining if it's time to add Revize Intranet to your site. So these are some questions to ask yourself as you're going along this webinar presentation and thinking, hey, you know, I have that and this is a good reason why I have that, or I don't have intranet features and I'm looking towards modernizing and advancing my website. Questions to ask yourself. Am I using my internet to post employee information? Am I choosing not to post some employee data because it may be confidential to the government entity? For example, safety videos or content that's not ready for public consumption yet. Am I hoping to put a full staff contact list up for employees' eyes only? So if you answered yes to any of these questions, it might be a good idea to consider adding Revize Intranet services to your site to maintain privacy and ensure that your employees are receiving the best services out there. So Denise did a very nice job of explaining just how simple it is for Revize and intranet features to be used by anybody, whether that's people, employees in the organization or the board, anything like that. Here are some screenshots from one of our websites that actually has intranet services. So you can see Revize does a beautiful job of maintaining aesthetic purposes while having logical and functional features on each platform. Something to note on as well is that Revize website and content management software accommodates to each device that somebody would use to look at the website. So you can see when somebody's looking at 𝗪𝗏𝗃 County on an iPad or on a phone, it fits the screen and accommodates to fit a beautiful aesthetic. So Intranet can also help with creating guidelines for employees. One thing that would be good to think about Intranet as is a business tool. Essentially, you can use Intranet features to do things like schedule meetings, make guidelines, create initiatives, have greater productivity, and collect and use feedback for an organization. So using all of these tools would only enhance an organization and make it stronger. So this is our contact page for requesting a demo. Our phone number is as followed. We are located in Troy, as I said before. We're going to have a brief Q&A after, but if you'd like to schedule a demo or you have any neighbors or friends that you think would be interested in a Revize content management software, feel free to ask or email us at contact@revize.com. We are also on all of the social medias, including Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn. So feel free to look us up and subscribe to updates and follow us. This will be a place where I'll be posting for upcoming webinars that should provide more useful communication skills for government entities and organizations. Thank you so much for joining us. Perfect timing. Resources here. And now it's Q&A time. I'm going to go ahead and stop the share. And if everybody would like to enter their questions in the group chat, that would be great. Mariah Lowe, I think, direct messaged me, but she asked me what the cost is. So one thing that's great about Revize is we're very accommodating. I don't know the cost off the top of my head, and I know it also depends on some of the different features because there's different levels of intranet that Revize provides. If it's something you're open to, I can definitely get a quote sheet or a salesperson to reach out, but I do know that Revize is very accommodating. Any other questions here? Well, if that's it, I want to thank you so much for attending the first webinar of 2021. If you have any suggestions or feedback, I'd love to hear it as this is the first one of the season. Brenda, we are going to be giving more tech topics coming up. We're going to be giving topics on Revize features, that communication skills we use. And I'm going to aim our webinars on things that clients or government agencies would find useful to know. So things that are going to help keep on trend with the most modern technology and digitalization, as well as we'll do some more topics that are current to the climate and things like that that are going on. So as COVID progresses, we'll be touching on that too, of course. If you have any suggestions for webinars, please feel free to send them to the contact@revize.com. We're always excited to hear feedback and suggestions. If that's it, I'm going to go ahead and end the webinar, but I want to thank you guys again. It was wonderful, and I want you to look forward to the upcoming webinars. I know I am. Follow us on social medias to keep up to date for the upcoming webinars. And other than that, have a great rest of your day.